Yeah, just a great effort. And really, obviously, that second half was something different. But the first 10 minutes of the game, it almost was like Montana State a week ago on the road, where we were just kind of stuck in mud. Some turnovers, the legs looked just a little slow, just the whole thing. And they came out 10-3. I thought we did a good job of kind of winning that last 8-10 minutes of the first half to get it to that one possession game. And we also did it with some guys in foul trouble, right? So that was good too. And so at halftime, there was no panic in that locker room. Even in the first half, I just think, my challenge to the guys was like, let's try to be the more mature team. And I thought we did that facing a little bit of adversity. So halftime, I don't know what happened. All I know is that when we usually start subbing guys in, 2-3, like DeJour's going to get in about 2-3 minutes in. Brock's going to get tired. We're going to get Theo in, and then Langston as well. But I looked up, and they sat on 39 points, and I went to the bench and said, you guys ain't going in until they score. And that was about minute 5, 6, 7, 8. And when you're 5 guys on the court, whoever they are, when they're on that type of a run, you just got to let it go. And then eventually we got those guys in. What happened was, even from that point, DeJour, Langston, Theo, they elevated us even more. And that was awesome. So I've heard like we had a 40-8 run, a 28-0 run, like just all these crazy stats, which that doesn't happen very often, especially against a good team, especially when you're losing. So I'm really proud of the guys for their toughness and resolve tonight.
Well, Coach, I think that's the second game in a row where the end of the half spurt in the first half has carried momentum over coming out of the locker room. Just that last 2-3 minutes of the first half, what was a little bit different? Just shots just start falling and just saw it kind of widen and it just kind of avalanche.
I guess, some shots. Again, here's the thing about defense too. When you don't score over and over and over, it's like, get a stop, right? But at some point in time, mentally, you are demoralized when you can't get that ball to go through the net. So I think we started scoring a little bit more. We got some good stops. I just look at it too, going all the way back to earlier in the season. We were up like 10 or 12 at A&M Commerce, and we had the worst start to the second half. It was just like the anti-start of this half. Like it's a 9-0 run, and all of a sudden all that work to get up 12, now it's a 3-point game. And same guys, and we did a great job in this game, and then also Sac State to just go boom and just attack that start of the second half. So phenomenal effort, and again with a couple guys, Jaron and Saint, they didn't play for a long time with that foul trouble, so to come out of the gates, it was just awesome.
I thought one of the things that really stood out was you getting on the defensive backboards, limiting them to one shot in the second half there as well. But also, offensively, you guys can score with anybody as well. But I like what I see in terms of offense, 20 assists on 33 made baskets, which is tremendous, 2-to-1 turnover ratio. You guys have been doing that over the last 7 ball games.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about sharing the basketball. I know we talked about it before,
Yeah.
but that's huge.
Yeah, just the same thing I always say with this team is, this is a team that has multiple guys in the top of the league in assists, right? And when that happens, you have a happy team. And you have a team that trusts each other that, like, look, if I'm open, my teammate's going to find me, I'm going to get a shot. And if I'm not open, I don't need to take that shot because I'm playing with 4 of the good basketball players, and we can generate a lot of stuff. And so I think that's a huge thing. And, looking at the stats tonight, it looks like Saint had 5 and really had 4. But a lot of guys, man, had, multiple assists, Theo, DeJour, Brock, Riley. And so you look at a guy like Riley who has been struggling to make shots. And the second play of the game, we ran, which we usually don't do, but we ran a shot for Riley to get a 3. Didn't make it. Missed his first 3 shots. And the trust in his teammates to keep feeding him the ball, boom, finally he hits a shot, and you just got to see one go through the net. You know what I mean? So it's just a team that really trusts each other.
Steve, before I noticed the run, I noticed that Portland State wasn't scoring.
Yeah.
Before I noticed you guys scoring, I noticed they weren't scoring. You looked like you guys tightened up defensively. Help me flush that out a little bit. What was different about you guys defensively coming out?
Yeah, so one thing we did, I think in the first half, they shot 45% from the field, which is pretty good. Defense wasn't the problem in the first half, but one thing that we did not anticipate is we wanted to play the post one-on-one. Munson, Johnson, what's our guy, Hayden Curtis. We wanted to play him one-on-one. That backfired. Munson got us in the post a couple times. Johnson got us in the post as well. So we did at halftime. We said, we're doubling the post. And what happens is you might give up some threes, but if you're really flying around, they start turning that ball over. So their turnovers went like that early in the second half. And so I think that was one thing. We kept our ball screen coverage the same, which I thought was great. You know, a guy like Isaiah Johnson, who's a good player, but not really known for his shooting, took 7 threes. He made 1. And then Curtis, who I don't know if he's made any threes this year, maybe 1, he took 2. So 2 guys that don't really shoot went 1 for 9 from 3. That's a big deal. And again, they either take the threes or they don't, but they decided to take the threes. It was the same thing in Sac State, but those 2 bigs who had made 1 3 the entire season threw in 3 of them. Now tonight, Sac State, those bigs didn't make any threes. So, you know, we've had kind of some of that bad luck a little bit, but that was, you know, schematically we felt good about the scheme, except for we needed to start doubling the post early on.
Coach mentioned it the post game, but I think this is the best defensive effort I've seen from the team in the 4 years that I've covered you. But just the ability, as you mentioned, shots not falling for the first 10 minutes. You guys had 10 points. And the ability to stay locked in defensively for a team that is more known for their scoring, I thought was pretty impressive tonight.
Yeah, that's the thing that, you know, like we had 10 points in 10 minutes, we finished with 90, so we had, 80 points in 30 minutes? Like that's insane. But there's going to be nights when you can't make a shot. Look at Saint in the first half before the foul trouble, right? I think in the first half he was 1 for 8 or 1 for 6 or something like that. Same shots. I mean, he had the one shot that went in and out, bounced out. You could see the frustration. But can we get stops when that ball's not going through the net? And that's the biggest thing. Like, if you're really trying to win in March and win 3 games in a row in a Big Sky tournament, you will have 1 bad offense a night, guaranteed. And so can you win when you're not playing well offensively? And that's what we're starting to show we can do.
And that's funny you said that, Coach, because I thought the maturity thing really stood out. Because most teams, when they're not seeing the ball go in the net, they lose their defensive integrity. Talk about the maturation of your team, which I think is very huge on their success.
It's huge, and I think having older guys and having guys that have been through a lot of fires, and that's the beautiful thing is we have all these veteran guys, and it goes back to, I've said it before, but guys that aren't playing as much, they are not only good enough to play, they've earned the right to play. We just can't play all of them. So Connor Creech, Juju, Marcel McKay, I'm not afraid to play any of those guys 20 to 25 minutes. It's just you have 200 minutes in a game. So when you have an old team, a mature team, this starts to surface unless the team destroys itself because the team's too worried individually. And these guys are just pouring themselves in. We got guys that I think are borderline all-league talents that are on scout team. That is so hard to do. And they're doing it. And they're embracing it. And I'm just so proud of all those guys.
I want to touch on that, Coach. You said that when Azor got hurt right after Christmas, he went to you about bringing Zach Blockett. I think it makes, and other people have said, it makes you deeper when you have instant offense with Langston and Dilshore coming off the bench. Do you think that could be a key to what's changed and unlock something?
Yeah, it could be. That's what's so great about DeJour. That he got hurt. He had missed 12 out of 13 days of playing because he got hurt the day after we got back from break. So 5 days before we were gone, right? So 5 days off, 1 practice, gets hurt. Now he's out for like 8 days. So it's like for 12 or 13 days he wasn't really doing basketball stuff. But everyone knows how I feel about him and how good he is. And so he came in and said, look, you're cleared, but are you mentally and physically ready to go? Because you haven't played. He's like, yeah, I'm ready to go. And he's like, nah, Coach, like Zach needs to start. Like, we're playing well. And like, how many kids would do that? He scored 3,000 points in high school. 3,000 points in high school. He's scored already over 1,000 points in college. He's only in his 3rd year. But it's like, it's about the team. And I just think he's playing so well because his mind's on the right stuff. He's just doing a great job.
I think that's unlocked Zach Blockett well. He doesn't always have the minutes, but he's the guy that you talked about earlier in the year. He facilitates that offense.
Oh, yeah.
0 for 10 to start the half. But coming off the loss that they had the other night, when Saint scored 3 points in the first half, when he buried that 3 after making the tough shot in the lane to get it going, you saw their bench slump.
Yeah.
You heard the crowd get bigger. How big was that 3-pointer when he buried right there to get the team going?
Was it the one that Zach hit or Saint hit?
The one that Saint hit.
Yeah, it was huge. I mean, that kind of broke the dam a little bit. And just 39-36, and it's like it's 45-39. It just kept going. But I mean, yeah, some of those shots, it just was a really fun night for the guys. You don't get to experience a lot of games like that, so it was fun.
How much hangover was in the first half? I know it's hard, but it's things you to look ahead. You got Eastern Washington next Thursday.
Yeah.
That had anything to do with the first half start?
No. Our guys really respect these guys. They know how good they are. We told them, hey, look, these guys have the best non-con of anybody in the Big Sky. I mean, they win at Santa Barbara, nobody wins there. They win at Cal Baptist, nobody wins there. They win at Fresno State, they win at Air Force. These guys are good, and so they knew it. They respected them. It's funny because, like I said, it kind of felt like Montana State. And after Montana State, I looked at myself in the mirror and said, did we do too much on Friday? In terms of just burning their legs out, because we had a great practice, the juice is awesome, and then we got to the game, it's like, whoa, are we out of juice? Now, we tried to really kind of slow that down this week. I mean, we did what we do preparing, but we didn't do a lot of stuff yesterday that really kind of grinded on them. It's more up top on the mental game, just to say, hey, like, we want to have in the game. So I don't know why we started slow, but sometimes it just happens.